YouTube, hello, welcome back. This is Off-Grid K&A. For those of you who are new here, welcome. This is our Off-Grid K&A channel. For those of you who are returning subscribers or returning viewers, thank you so much. We appreciate you. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. You'll notice that if you've watched previous videos, I'm typically not outdoors shooting a video. Today I wanted to be outdoors because I wanted to talk to you guys about a serious medical condition that I have and how I deal with it living off-grid. So I have asthma. Asthma, for those of you who don't know or who aren't familiar with it, is an illness, I would say, a respiratory illness that is characterized by the tightening of the airways. Oftentimes it will feel like the person who is having an asthma attack is slowly being suffocated because they are not able to get enough air. What that means is just that the airways are tightening and they are restrictive. Oftentimes there is additional mucus that's created or additional phlegm that's created, which makes it even harder to breathe. This can be a condition that is lifelong, like lifelong lasting, or it can be a condition that disappears as you age. Typically, it's not seen in adults. If you don't have asthma as a child, you won't really get it as an adult. It's not common, let's say, for you to get it as an adult. But if you have it as a child, it's very common for it to continue to some point into adulthood. It is also common for it to disappear. So it just depends on the different steps that you take, how your genetics are made up, all that stuff. I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk to you guys about what I have done and what my experience with asthma has been like as a child before I talk about how I deal with it living off-grid. In terms of what my asthma was like when I was a kid, I was not allowed to participate in a lot of outdoor activities. This sort of environment would have sent me into probably 2 days worth of asthma attacks because my system would have been so inflamed. There were certain things I was not allowed to eat. Dairy being one of them. I was not allowed to have cheese. I was not allowed to have yogurt. I was not allowed to have ice cream. Nothing that had dairy in it because it would make my asthma that much worse. For medication, I was given an inhaler. For those of you who don't know, you can look up puffers or inhalers online. There's lots of information about them. I was given an inhaler and I had a Ventolin and a Flovent. Those were my pieces of medication. From probably, I would say, March until November, I was expected to take my Flovent, which was my orange one. I was expected to take that twice a day, so once in the morning and once in the evening. And then my Ventolin I took whenever I needed it, whenever I was having an asthma attack or felt something difficult coming on. That was kind of what my childhood looked like. So I missed out on a lot of foods. I missed out on a lot of activities. I missed out on a lot of experiences. And nobody's fault necessarily. It was just more along the lines of what I was and was not capable of doing. So as an adult now, there are a few things I do that have really made a big difference in how I live, to the point where I don't even need AC. As a kid, I always had to be inside with the AC running full blast. I don't need AC now at all in order to be able to function on a regular basis, or even doing workouts inside where I'm doing cardio. So one of the biggest changes that I've made in diet, and this goes just kind of for the household in general, anytime I am making something, whether that be like cakes, cookies, muffins, anything that's a pastry or like a munchie or something that is a dessert, I will actually cut the sugar in half, or sometimes I'll even cut it by 2/3. And I haven't noticed a taste difference. It's not like it tastes all that different just because there's less sugar in it. But I have noticed a huge difference in how well my body responds to eating things that are considered not healthy for you. And I've noticed a huge difference in my ability to breathe as well and the ease at which my breath comes. That's a big change in diet. Another large change in diet is that we don't drink any processed milk, any processed dairy, because we've been fortunate enough to be able to get goats and have milk and have goat's milk. Anything that I make, so ice cream, cheese, yogurt, anything like that, that is a dairy product actually comes from our goats and that I make homemade. So that could be because of the fact that it is a different type of dairy, because goat's milk is much different than cow's milk. It could also be the fact that it's a more natural sort of process in which I am making it, because I'm not making it with all of the chemicals and fillers and preservatives. So the second thing that I wanted to touch on is exercise. Now, we live in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like we just hop out of bed in the morning and go to the gym. We have the great outdoors, as well as home-based workouts, DVDs, things like that. So for myself, I have really found that with my respiratory challenges, as I like to call them now, cardio has worked wonders, and regular cardio has worked wonders. I don't do cardio for the sake of doing cardio, but I do cardio because I know that it's going to help me and help my breath be a lot smoother, because I already have those respiratory challenges. Something that I found has really worked for me has been P90X. That program has really made a huge difference in my breathing and in how I breathe. I noticed that mindful breathing as well has really helped. So with yoga, with meditation, and with just being aware of how I am at different points of the day, reminding myself to be mindful with my breathing has also really made a huge difference in how I breathe and in how often I have asthma attacks. The third thing that I have found has been really a game changer is that we now live in a much cleaner and a much drier environment. So moisture and humidity, even like as a child and even now as an adult, it really aggravates my asthma. Moving from a climate, we used to live in a climate that was very much moist and humid, where the humidity would be at anywhere from 50 to 70%, like the majority of the time. Here, I want to say it's like that maybe happens just before a storm, and it's not something, because we live in the mountains, it's not something that we're too concerned about or that I'm too concerned about. It has been unusually humid this past week, so it's not like it never gets to that point where it's a challenge for the humidity for my asthma to deal with. But in that case, what I do is I'm just a lot more careful. I'm a lot more mindful of what I'm doing, in the sense of I'm not going crazy. I'm not, going for like a 3-mile run in the humid weather. That's just not something that I would do if I know that my body can't handle it. So learning how to respect my body's boundaries has also been a really large part of my journey with asthma. The fourth thing that I wanted to say about what has been a game changer in my journey with asthma is actually why I'm standing outside. If you notice, there is a giant plant behind me. I don't know if anybody knows what it is. If you do, leave a comment down in the description below, and I'll wait. Okay, if you don't know, it's mullein. This is mullein, M-U-L-L-E-I-N, for those of you who are looking to look it up. Mullein has been amazing. What I will do is I will actually pick the leaves of the plant once it's at full grown capacity and it's ready for harvest. I will pick the leaves of the plant and put that in tea, just the straight leaves and hot water, and that's it. I might have a little bit of honey, but that's on occasion. The general idea being that the mullein plant is actually very good for boosting your respiratory system. This is not just for people with asthma. This is also for people who are looking to boost their respiratory stamina or boost their cardiovascular endurance. Andre doesn't have any sort of cardiovascular problems, and he has started drinking mullein tea. He's noticed a huge difference in his ability to actually do strenuous cardio when he goes for his multiple mile runs. He's noticed a difference if he drinks mullein tea on a regular basis versus if he doesn't. Now, this stuff grows everywhere on our property anyways. It grows everywhere. You can find it pretty much anywhere because it's a wild plant. It grows quite a bit, and it will go through even rock. So there's quite a few areas just in where we are that it grows, but you could probably find it where you are, depending on your climate, of course, but I know it's a very hardy plant. So that last one is my sneak tip. That's 4 tips for you, but that's my sneak tip that I definitely have noticed has been one of the largest game changers for me in terms of my personal journey with my asthma. I'm always on the lookout for things that I don't necessarily know about or that I haven't tried. So if you are watching this video and you have a natural method of how you deal with your asthma, or a more holistic method of how you deal with your asthma, please leave a comment in the comments down below, and I'll definitely make sure I reach out to you. But that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.